The old Acme Water Tower, part of what is now a defunct coal mining community. Howdy, Ace Young here, and welcome to a segment we call Back in the Day here in the Sheridan Channel, where we explore how things used to be in this neck of the woods back in the day. On this particular segment, we're talking to 97-year young Sam Rotellini. He is a Sheridan resident, but he traces his roots to a community much like you see here at Acme.
This is a picture that was taken in Cambria, Wyoming.
Oh, Cambria, Wyoming.
Yes.
Where is that?
That's just out of Newcastle, Wyoming, about 6 miles north of there. It called the area was Sweetwater, and we were in the Cambria coal company. My dad was there, and this must have been done about 1927, 26. Because the town closed in 1928. And
Company town, coal mine. Now, you're a pretty snappy dresser there.
Well, that must have been maybe Easter Sunday, because my dad was always Easter Sunday, and about 3 or 4 Sundays in a year that he took over, you know. And naturally, we went for a walk, and my mother made sure we took Ernie with us.
The little guy.
Yeah, the little guy. Right. He didn't like it too well. You can tell by the picture there.
Now here you got some instruments. You were part of a band. Tell me, what instrument did you play?
I played the banjo in those years, and my brother played this. It's a tenor sax.
Okay. You have a musical family then.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and this was just before we left the country down there.
Now this is kind of a family portrait here.
Yeah, that was taken had to be taken in Newcastle, Wyoming, sometime when we were. That looks like I was about 8 years old.
All right. So what's the story about your mom in an airplane back in the day when not many people, let alone women, were in planes? Tell me that one.
Well, this was happened in a little town like Upton, Wyoming. Upton, Wyoming is the biggest little town on earth, you know. And they'd have a celebration there, and they'd have bocce balls, and they would have horseshoes. They had horse races. They'd have races for kids, and then they had a guy flying an airplane, and he would have 15 minutes ride or 10 minutes ride for about $5. And my dad liked to play bocce ball, and he said, now when I'm playing bocce ball, you two guys leave me alone. So we didn't want us to bother him, because that was a pretty good deal for him. Mm-hmm. And so we were walking down. My mother was walking with another friend of the family's, and he said to her, I'll pay the $5 if you'll fly in the airplane. And she said, you mean you pay the $5? And she said, well, yes, I'll fly. So they put her goggles on her and a hat on her, and she had one of those caps over her. And so she got in the airplane and started flying. And then I talked to Rhodey. Rhodey talked to me, and he said, you think we ought to tell Papa that Mother's in that airplane? And so he went over and grabbed him by his pants and says, hey, Dad, Mom's in that airplane. And he says, she's in that airplane. And he said, Mom, he hit his head. What's she doing in that airplane? You know, so he quit his bocce game, and he was watching that airplane go round and round up there, you know, and pretty soon she came down and they landed, and she had a nice big smile on her face, and he went up to her and he said, you know, lady, the next time you do something like that, I want that $3,000 you got in your corsets, you know. She had a corset. So he wasn't looking for her, he was watching out for his money, you know. Some days there wasn't a bank in Cambria, you know, and everybody had their money under the mattress.
She figured out the safest place in her case.
The safest place for it, yeah.
That's a great story. Great stories from Sam Rotellini. Ace Young here, inviting you to stay tuned as we continue to explore great stories back in the day here on Channel 22, the Sheridan Channel.